Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 36 of What If Naruto Got His Memory Sealed Away. Remember to get this one to 200 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the new series of What If Naruto had the Red Rinnegan and also was neglected over on Anime King, and I enjoyed that guys. And stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last part we left off, Naruto was going towards the safe haven where the fortress was, as he was to destroy it so the Konoha ninjas can come across. As he made his way, as he was attacked by 3 ninjas from the Star Country, as he killed them easily, as he used the Amaterasu flames to burn them, as Maki then arrived, as Sai had sent her to make sure if Naruto need anything, any assistance, as they made their way out there, as Maki got tired, so Naruto gave her time to rest. As they were talking, as Maki told him about Danzo's plan for them, and what Danzo wanted the both of them to get together, without the both of them even knowing, as Naruto was surprised to hear that. But then Naruto said that he wouldn't have a problem with it, surprising Maki. She liked him, but she never knew that as she decided to make a bold move as she kissed him, as he went along with it, because he liked Maki, as she was there from day one en route, even though he didn't know that she was a, girl. As the both of them started to make out, as the make-out session turned into a full stripping off clothes session, as the both of them did it right there in the forest. After that was over, they continued with their mission, as they headed straight forward. They made their way as Naruto summoned Gamehiro. He also summoned Gamekichi, as they destroyed the large fortress, as they made their way in there, killing all the ninjas. As Naruto threw a rusting shuriken as the thing tore, destroyed the large fortress, as everyone started to hustle outside, the ones that remain alive. As the Konoha ninjas on the other side heard the chaos, as they were already fighting in the front, and they heard the back being destroyed. So the ninjas had nowhere to run, as they were cornered in the center, as they were utterly slaughtered. Making his way back, as Maki was gone, as she couldn't afford the Konoha ninja to see her right now. Even though Tsunade knew they were not official, so she made her way, as she sent a genjutsu on Naruto to tell him that she was off. As he was greeted by Teiwaya, who looked exhausted as well after fighting off so many ninjas, and with that they made their way back. Some time passed after that as Naruto was sent back home, as seeing that he was a big part of this war and he has to be in multiple places, his mission was to escort the liaison for Kumo back to her home, and that was Yujito, as he was supposed to meet up with Jiraiya there. As that was his next mission, back at the Hidden Sand, as they were being attacked by the Rain Ninjas, a lot of them. As Gar was on the ground in their bunker, ready for them, as they had already known that they would be coming here. So, the Hidden Sand was not surprised, and with him well aware, Gar was able to utilize the sand as he pleased, as none of them were leaving here alive, as Gar was still pissed that Pain destroyed the village, and these ninjas came here. They were all going to die. So yeah guys, so it's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it over yourself. So, what do you say begin this new episode? Outside the walls of the Hidden Sand. At first, the shinobis thought that it was a sand storm that was getting more intense, but then the ground started to shake as they felt it. It's the Kazakage. It has to be, the Rain Ninja said. He isn't even out here, he can't be. What kind of leader step on the battlefield first? You know what to do, one of them said. Do not stay stationary. as the rain ninjas started to move, as there was a few other minor village ninjas there, as they were confused by this, until they were grabbed and pulled underneath the wave of sand. Despite being prepared for this, quite a large amount of rain ninjas couldn't escape it either. The ones that bore witness to their comrades as they were pulled underground before a sand spear with their body inside rose up in the air, as the group watched as blood exploded out of the sand spear as their comrades were crushed inside, shocking all of them. Dozens of kunais then rained down as they started to kill most of them. "Welcome to the Hidden Sand," Kankuro yelled over a distance as his puppet Karasu stood by his side. "How are you liking the weather so far?" he said, not even seemed shaken by the 2,000 remaining ninjas that was in front of them, even though they had killed quite a lot of them. A lot of them are still remaining. I mean, it's gotta be crazy, right? With the sandstorm, and the rain in blood, and the rain in kunai from the skies. But don't worry, you got to get used to it, said Kankuro with a smirk. Puppets then exploded out of the sand as they started to attack the ninjas. As the puppets came fast and quick, from a distance, Asgaro was seeing everything, as many of the ninjas were pulled underground before they even know what happened, as they were crushed and grind up in the sand. Time skip. With Naruto and Yujito, Hemako had insisted that the both of them left, armed to the teeth. So they did, while neither of them knew what is going on in the front line at the northwest, because correspondent from there was very small, but it was very nasty. That was the entire reason why they needed Yujito home in the first place. A summon from Kumo, a summon that can send objects, was what Tsunade received. The terrain was really bad, so for Kumo to try and invade them from there, they were being slaughtered, as they couldn't get to the village itself even though they had bunkered down in a village called Land of Bears. But the real village, it was covered, as there was a giant cannon in front of them with poison gas that was stopping them from getting into Hashigakure. Either way, Yujito needed to return. At the moment, the both of them were moving through the trees on the northwest. "How are we going to get through in the first place?" Yujito asked, as the two of them kept hopping from branch to branch. "I want to get back to my comrades, but if we wind up getting killed going back there, it kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?" she said. "Don't worry, Yuji-chan," said Naruto as he kept his eyes in the woods around them. "We just have to get to the camp and get brief, and then we will figure it out from there. There has to be something we can do to get past. There always is," he said. "Any half-assed sensor could find you or me," she said. It was true though. Both of them were walking chakra beacons, even when they controlled their chakra to suppress it. "Even if we find a weak point, how are we going to sneak through the line?" "Let me worry about that." Naruto said that smirk. "Trust me. It will be okay," he said. "It's not like I'm scared, Naruto-kun. My training might have been despicable, but it got me ready to handle anything I am needed to do. You don't need to protect me." "Well, that's why I'm here," Naruto says. He turned towards her. "It's my mission to keep you safe and get you home, Miss Yujito. Not just because I was total, but because you were precious to me." As hearing that made her eyes widen. "And I remember a pretty kitty telling me over a year ago that if you protect something, you just don't let it die. So I'll protect you, even if you don't want it." Well, who would have thought that a Konoha ninja had gotten her heart to jump like that? Someone like him saying such sappy things like that, he got her heart jumping. Meanwhile, as the both of them were hopping below, as a creature emerged from a tree, it was Zetsu, both black and half. "Oh, Toby's really gonna like this one," the white half said. "Isn't that where he was planning to test out the—" "Shut up, idiot," said the black half. "But you have a point. He already have plans for that part of the continent, but maybe he can add something with those two Jinchurikis heading that way." And with that, they sink back underground to report to their leader. Meanwhile, they hit the sand on the battlefield. 21 guys as he smashed his fist into a shinobi's chest, breaking the man down completely. "Where's Kakashi? I want to know his score. Today is the day I win yet again. Another challenge between us." "Guy Sensei, focus," said Tenten. "Count in your head. Hearing how many people you beat is gonna make me tired." "Tired?" said Guy. "Tenten, if something like this tire you out so quickly, I fear I haven't done my job as a good leader. Look at Lee, he can keep at this all day and all night." "Good for him," said Tenten as she threw another volley of kunais, taking down at least 3 enemies. "Let's see him keep it up when someone gets smart and use a genjutsu on him." Then she had to run over and break it like she always did. "Crap, look up." Senbon shower as several umbrellas are in the air, as they start to fire off dozens of Senbons towards the Konoha and Sand Ninjas. As Tenten unsealed a large metal shell as Guy and Lee took refuge under it, as the wing users blew them from the sky. Man, this is seriously deadly jutsu, one of the wing users said, as even though they were managed to blow it away, over a dozen got hit with that attack, and he will be the next one to suffer because in the panic he was cut down by a glowing sword. Oh, I've been waiting for this for quite a long time, said a voice. I'm sure you have. The man heard a voice behind him as he turned. Kakashi Hatake. The man said a bit angrily as Kakashi was standing there in a rather nonchalant stance. What are you doing all the way out here running around the sand, rats? Oh, you know, this and that. As Kakashi pointed his sword in the man's hand, the Raging no Ken. You wouldn't mind giving that to me, huh, Aoi? You know, with it being something of a Konoha national treasure and all. Aoi smirked. Sorry. But this blade is the property of Aoi, Rokusho, and it has been for a long time now. Don't you know I'm unbeatable, Jonin of the Hidden Rain with this weapon. I'm invincible. I haven't even been touched by an opponent in 4 years. A nod came from Kakashi, you know. I got a lightning blade of mine. Own, if you like to see it. I think it's pretty effective, if I do say so myself. As he pulled his headband up and revealed his Sharingan eye. Meanwhile, above in the skies, as Konoha was watching the battle down below, despite being outnumbered, the Konoha ninjas with the Sand ninjas were pushing back. The Hidden Rain had come, prepared for anything, but it was difficult. At this point, they were really only good for decoys and shields. As Konan sighed, wasn't this what they were trying to stop? But Nagato didn't see it that way anymore. He said that it all was a means to an end. As long as it led to a war that was free of war, this pain was necessary for the time being. What a contradicted way of thinking. But she still had faith in him, she still believed that he knew what he was doing. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki that she fought all those months ago, he was only trying to get into her head, to save his own skin. Yes, that is what he was trying to do. But yet as she looked down at the spoils of war, and seen rain ninjas get slaughtered after one another, she remembered what Nagato said. He was finally back to full strength, and know that he had his 6 paths again. It was finally time to show the Hina-san who was the strongest man in the world. And what better way to do that than to appear and take their Kazekage right in front of their faces. Above her head, a great cloud started to form, as she knew Nagato was on his way. Meanwhile, lightning was cackling all around Aoi, as he had few scratch marks on him but nothing too fatal. As he looked over at Kakashi, who was charging his lightning blade, making Aoi laugh. As he spread his arms, "Come," he said, gesturing for Kakashi to come to him. Kakashi leaped forward with tremendous speed as Aoi swung his weapon, but Kakashi saw through everything with his Sharingan as he twisted his body. As Aoi heard the chirping sound before, lightning blade, as Kakashi shoved his hand right through Aoi's chest. As Aoi released the blade, Kakashi had to jump away as he was assaulted by several kunais coming down on him. As he jumped away from the rain ninjas, as the battle went on with the sand slowly covering the raging blade, until someone walked over, as it was Tenten as she picked the blade up. The moment she did, the thunder blade came back to life with yellow glow. She spun around as she sliced 2 kunais in half, to her surprise, as a spark came from it, shocking the 2 ninjas. "Who in the world dropped this?" she said. "Well, whatever, it's mine now," she said, as she started to get to work. Meanwhile, the rest of the fighters, they thought that the Hidden Sand was crippled, that they were tired, just because pain had destroyed the village. But they were incredibly wrong. These rain ninjas stood no chance, all of them. They were being pushed back and the sandstorm was getting thick at their feet, pulling them down into the sand and squashing them like they were nothing but insects. Even if they managed to win this battle, how would they turn their forces on Konoha? As their force will be broken by the time this battle is over, as it has been hours the fight has been raging for. But the rain ninjas thought that they would still win no matter what, because they had God on their side, so how could they lose? As they then saw someone descending down from the sky. "Angel, she's here!" one of them shouted. "Pain is coming," said Konan. As Konan landed, hearing that the Sand Ninjas were surprised, that man was said to be leading all of this. "Do not falter," said Konan. "Keep the pressure going forward. Pain will deliver the blow that will break the backs of the oppositions. This I can say with certainty." She then burst into many papers and scattered off. The rain ninjas stood up as they felt revitalized, that their god was coming to end everything. Charge, they said as he leapt forward, jumping into the fray with even more vigorous strength. Meanwhile, the sand gate, no one knew where these things came from, as a ox appeared, and a giant centipede. How did these get so far through the line? As Sand Ninja said as he jumped out of the way, avoiding being smashed by the centipede. Not only was it massive, but the thing could crawl rather quickly, making it deadly with its sharp legs that could squash and stab right through them. I don't know, another shouted, as he looked towards the giant ox that was coming towards him. How were you gonna stop that thing? Lee, I'm with you guys, Sensei. Konoha Senpyu, two voice said. As the ox was met by two mighty blows, the tremendous force blew it away as the thing smashed into a giant sand dune. Many sand ninjas quickly surrounded as they hold it down with dozens of cloth binding jutsu. As Neji was at the gate scanning everything, as he wondered where those large summoned creatures came from, as he did see a shimmering light force. Damn, how could I miss that? Come with me. It could have been nothing, but he had this hunch. So he took a small group as they made their way. What do you see, sir? One of the sand ninjas asked. I'm not sure, said Neji, as he saw the thing moving along the walls, as he could see the shimmer like it was almost invisible, and it was heading straight towards the village. Nothing heading to the village was good. The only thing that should be going back there was a wounded for emergency. The thing then turned towards them. Move, said Neji, as the ninjas jumped away, but Neji got caught by a tongue as he was lifted up off the ground. Sir, the sand ninja yelled, as Neji looked at the strange creature with ripple pattern eyes as well, and piercing ink as well. It was a very large chameleon that sneaked for a tail. Now that was a very interesting summit. If I had known that Konoha would have dispatched Hyuga members, especially one as talented as yourself, I would have done my approach differently. That voice sounded familiar to Neji, but it sounded distant as well. As Neji watched as a chameleon mouth opened up, showing a man wearing the black and red cloak. He had shaggy orange hair and a rain headband that was slashed, and he had the piercing as well. But the most notable trait was the X on his chin. Now Neji knew full well that Rinnegan meant that this was Pain, but he also knew that this was one of 6 bodies that Pain possessed, seeing that Jiraiya had passed around the information. But Neji never forgot a face, and he had seen this man before. He was actually a very powerful Konoha ninja before his disappearance, which hadn't been too long ago to the sand. Danzo. Shimura, Neji said. Look at the veteran. Pain took your body and used it for one of his paths. So, you know of my abilities? Well, you know of a few of them. Anyway, said Pain. Jiraiya sensei managed to make a victory, even in his defeat. I am really regretting not finishing him off. That creature. That is how you got in the first time, isn't it? Said Neji, as he was still trying to struggle against the tongue. You slipped past and got into the midst of the village to wage your attack. Reports said that it was a different body of Pain that dealt the damage to the hidden sand though. Animal path is a very versatile and powerful aspects of my abilities. But I am through talking with you, said Pain. So am I, said Neji. Gentle fist art, one blow body. As chakra exploded out of Neji's body, it was powerful enough to make the tongue break the grip on him as Neji fell to the ground. The thing then started to go straight towards the hidden sand even more, deeper into all the chaos that Pain caused. As Neji and his troops chased after it, they were back at the village itself. Well, what Pain had left, as Pain was seeing that these people were very determined to at least try to rebuild something that he had destroyed completely a month and a half ago. But he wasn't here to destroy it again. He was here for something more important. But he had to get rid of his pursuers, as he jumped off the chameleon and sent it to deal with his pursuers. As Danzo went through hand sign, summoning jutsu, as Neji dodged the tongue. But Neji's eyes went wide when he saw 6 figures appearing in that summoning. All 6 paths of Pain. If Jiraiya couldn't beat them, how could he on his own? He had to try though. As Neji allowed his comrades to deal with the chameleon as he dashed forward, all 6 of them can share their vision, and they all have strange powers that come with the Rinnegan. The first option if you were in this place was to get away, not even to fight, just to get away. But there was the choice to run when public #1 enemy was right in the middle of the village. Now this is interesting, said Tendo Pain. You're still going to stand against me even though you knew who I am. Is this bravery? Or is it just more of the misplaced bravado from Konoha? As Pain tone was filled with sarcasm. As the robot path made his way forward, as he tore away his cloak to show 6 arms instead of 2, as he had 2 faces on the other side of his head, and a blade peeking over his back. But the human path with his long hair rushed forward as Neji jumped back, as Robot Pat then fired off several missiles towards Neji. Rotation, Neji says he spin as the missiles impact on the dome and exploded. But Neji was perfectly fine. As Neji stopped, you may be able to see me from 6 different perspectives, but there isn't a single angle that you can come at me without me seeing you. Hyuga members are meant to fight multiple enemies at once. Neji then heard it crying behind him as he turned, as he saw the chameleon coming back towards him, as it had stomped upon many of his support. As the tongue came straight towards him, but Neji flipped as he landed right on top of the creature's head. The tail then came up to struck at him, but Neji jumped as it struck its own head. As the animal path dispelled the sobbing, Neji then felt something. I have no more time to waste with you, Hyuga. Universal pull, said Tendo Pain, as Neji's body was pulled forward, as the robot path stepped forward his blade to impale Neji. But a burst of sand exploded right between them as a sand arm grabbed Neji. As Neji was lifted over to where Gaara was, standing on top of the roof of the tallest reconstruct building in the village. As Neji stood back up as he looked over at all the pain bodies. Thank you, Kazekage-sama, he said. But shouldn't you be at your safe house? The enemy isn't at the gates any longer, said Gaara, with his arms folded across his chest. His face was still calm, but he was wishing nothing but death on this man who had destroyed his village and dare to step foot in here again. Yes, he shall die today no matter what. This is officially my problem to handle personally, said Gaara. This is good then, said Neji. We can fight them together. I have my misgivings dealing with the large on his 6 arms, but with you fighting from a range and with me engaging them up close, I can be quite a help to you. Agreed, said Gaara, as Neji was ready to run in again. But you won't be helping me. As Neji was surprised. You're going to go to where the medics, the Genins, and the villagers are, and you're going to make them be prepared for this. It's going to be very loud. Neji was well aware that Gaara was a Kazekage, but he had his doubts that Gaara could handle all 6 bodies of pain. While he would never say it out loud to the redhead, he saw Jiraiya as a more powerful man than the Kazekage, and even Jiraiya was unable to do anything before defeating one body and being succumbed to the pain, overwhelming might that also crushed Naruto as well. But this was an order from the top, as far from the top as he was going, seeing that he was not in Konoha right now, and Gaara was in no joking mood. No one needs to fight this battle but me. It's too dangerous for anyone else, Gaara said, as he got on his sand platform. As with that he made his way. Neji had no choice but to go off, as he had to tell what was going to happen. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Yujito, as they saw a group. Hey, said Naruto, as him and Yujito landed. You guys wouldn't happen to be heading up to the line, would you? As the group looked at each other. Sure, come with us. As Naruto and Yujito nodded before heading off with them, as it was much safer to travel in a crowd like this. Not that you were scared or anything, but it was better this way. But what they didn't notice was ninja ahead of them, who had mysterious smirks on their faces. Meanwhile, back at the sand, how brave of you to face me outright, said Pain, as he looked over at the Kazekage. I take it, you know who I am. What I plan to do with you, and yet you're still here to fight me instead of fleeing. Thus comes with the title of Kazekage. No, said Gaara. This isn't about me being the Kazekage. Are you threatening my village today? Look around you, there isn't anything left for you to destroy. This is about me and my anger towards you. A friend of mine kept me from storming towards a hidden ring to end your life, and here you bring yourself towards me. I would thank you if I wasn't about to end your life. Without a warning, the Azura Pad fired off his fist like a rocket. As the robot fist came towards Gaara, the sand exploded right in front of Gaara, blocking the fist. As Gaara sent a wave of sand towards Tendo Pain, it was the main body, seeing that Pain always spoke through that one. But the absorption path jumped forward as he absorbed the chakra from the sand, making it useless. So that's the one that can negate all chakra techniques. His entire battle style centered around him using his sand control. So this was bad for him. The other paths of Pain was not going to give Gaara a chance as he attacked. The human, the robot, and the animal path stepped forward. But Gaara's ultimate defense was still alive, and it had never been stronger. As he pushed them back, as he saw the animal path trying to summon, but Gaara snatched him up, snatching up Danzo's body with his sand. His only hope was to hit them hard and fast. Sand Waterfall Funeral, as Gaara crushed Danzo's body and threw it to the side, as the robot path then dashed forward towards him. and fired off several missiles, which Gara blocked with his sand. But when Gara brought down back his sand, he saw Tendo Pain coming forward, as he didn't stop. Almighty. Push! As all the sand was blown away. Nice try, said Pain. But I can see through a simple substitution, he said. As the three other paths, the human, the robot, and the Preda path, saw Gara switching with a sand clone, they went right for Gara with the Preda path, negating all the sand that come towards them. As Gara stood there before reaching his hands up, prison, sand burial. A sinkhole came between the two paths, and despite the Preda path ability to negate chakra, he fell straight down. Perfect, Gara said, 3 down. So young and so skilled. You managed to defend yourself even the Preda path in your way, knowing what he can do. I must say, I'm a bit impressed. I don't need no praise from you, said Gara, as sand was swirling all around him. Without the Preda path to block anything, there was no need to hold back anything any longer. From what he saw from that body, it was the one that destroyed everything with one move. Gara's sand then started firing off sand bullets towards the Deva path, who raised his hand. Almighty push, he said, as all of them were sent sailing away. But Gara refused as he kept it up. Once the Almighty faded, Pain had to dodge the attack, as Gara wondered why he didn't try the technique again to rid himself of the attack. Almighty push, Pain said. There go another one, but why? Why didn't he do it any sooner? As Gara started to analyze things rather quickly, he was just dodging until a few seconds passed for him to do it again. Universal pull, Pain said. Gara sand crit a hand and grabbed onto his midsection that pulled him back. When the jutsu stopped, Gara was rested back on his feet. Again, he didn't do it again. As Gara narrowed his eyes, something was up with him. But Gara then heard something. Summoning jutsu. As he quickly turned around, he thought he killed that one, as the newly revived animal path had just summoned the Preda path and the human path from where he buried them, so they were now back on the surface. Do you see now, said Tendo? You cannot defeat God. You can destroy my bodies, but they can always be resurrected in the end. As the sixth path got back into their formation, restoration ability doesn't make you God, said Gara. As sweat was coming from his brow, as this battle was testing him in multiple ways. As he knew that Naruto was right now, if he had attacked them in the hidden rain, he would have been defeated quickly, and the rain would have made things so much difficult on him. But now he was learning much more. No wonder that path didn't fought him so far. The healer never fight in a battle. As the robot path stepped forward as he blasts a cannon from his head that shot straight towards Gara, as Gara quickly took to the air with a platform of sand. This was what he needed to get out of their range and away from the push and pull from the Deva path. But Pain summoned a large bird that carried the animal and the Azure path in the air. As the robot path fired blast after blast of chakra towards Gara, forcing him to dodge and turn. But they were following him. They were falling right into his trap. As Pain saw what Gara was doing, bringing up a large amount of sand. Sand binding prison, Gara said, right when the animal and robot path was right in the center, as he trapped them in a prison. Suddenly, the absorption path then vanished, as the animal path had summoned him right inside the prison so he could absorb the technique. So Gara had to think quickly as he lifted up the sand platform before swinging it away, throwing it far and wide behind the sand walls, so he couldn't summon himself back here quickly. Gara started to breathe heavily at the effort and power he used to throw that sand prison away with 3 of them inside. 3 against 1 was better than 1 against 6. 2 of the other paths then vanished, leaving Deva path alone as they were summoned. How clever of you. Even a little bit of information, you are still able to get some more in this battle. Like I said, you won't take Shikaku from me today, and the hidden sand will not fall, no matter if you destroy the buildings, no matter if you take some of our life. You will never break the sand completely. Trying to deplete our forces is like taking each grain of sand from the desert. This is far from over. I will be back. Do not think that you have won. The hidden sand will be painted in red soon. You haven't felt true pain yet. Get out of my village and get out of my lands. Retreat with whatever army that you have left. Glaring at Gara with those chilly red eyes, the Deva path then vanished in a poof of smoke as well. That fight was extremely difficult, but it wasn't as, destructive as Gara thought it would be. He was exhausted because of the huge, massive chakra that he had to use to throw the sand prison far outside of his village, and not to mention he was using sand earlier to attack. as he hoped that Baki could deal with the battlefield for a bit longer. Moments later, Pain, temporary battle HQ, a massive tower used by Konan Paper Jutsu, was holding Pain at the moment. Damn Gaara, he could use excessive force and kill him because Shikaku would reform somewhere else, and that would just take too goddamn long. He had almost made the mistake of killing Naruto back in the Hidden Rain. It was actually lucky that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki was hard to beat down. Konan said Nagato as he was in his mechanical walker, as he could see the sand and where the battle was going on in the distance. The tide was turning back in their favor, but had he been able to capture Gaara and walk out of there, the sand hope would have lost. Signaled for the retreat, as she understood that he didn't want to converse at the moment, as she went off. As Nagato placed his hand together after going through hand signs, as a projection of Devapath appear. This is not over, Hidden Sand. You and the other villagers will pay for the pain that you have inflicted upon our smaller nations for decades. We outnumber the 5 great shinobis 10 to 1, and unlike our brothers who stood beside our side to the cause, you are all about to face the true wrath of God, he said, and with that he fizzled out of existence. As the Rain Ninjas then started the retreat, a gigantic golem made from sand rose up from the ground and started to squash the ninjas down below. It was created by Gaara, as Konan was about to stop that thing, but Pain called out to her, "No, let's return back to the Hidden Rain immediately. The war is far from over yet. The sand is still weak, and they won't attack anytime soon, even if at all," he said. As Konan wondered if Nagato saw what was going on anymore. So many of their subordinates had died. But she sighed as he was leader. She broke the paper tower down as the both of them headed back. As the sand ninjas cheered as they cried, even though they were destroyed, they still stood tall alongside their Kazekage as they were able to fend them off even in their weakened state. They were still on their feet as they cheered. Time skip. Later that night, traveling with a group had slowed them down as they were forced to stop, seeing that they didn't have the stamina that Naruto and Yujito had. As Yujito was currently sitting down now, as he was rubbing her neck. There were over 30 Konoha shinobi, and Naruto clones were also out keeping guard. If anything went wrong, she would know about it in time to get back into battle mode. We make such good time on the first day, even if we did get slowed down when we found your Konoha comrades. Do you know any of them? Asked Yujito, as she looked over at Naruto. I don't know any of them actually. We never met until today. It's really hard to realize just how many people in the village are ninja. Kumo has more shinobis than Konoha, she teased, as she took off her headband, letting her hair out. Do you know how many Kumo ninjas I kicked the crap out of? Do you know how many Konoha ninjas I kicked the crap out of? She said in return. I'm older than you, dear, remember that. As she went over to him, she placed her head on his shoulder as she saw him checking the seals over his body. What do those do? She asked as she relaxed. Oh, some of this and that, said Naruto as he rested his head against hers. Storage, one for communication. Those were just the ones that everyone knew about though, as he had one that he stored the Amaterasu flames in, and one working to a contact lens that cover the Sharingan eye from anyone view. Oh yeah, and he had a dead man switch on his body to activate in case he was captured, and if he was conscious to do something about it. But no one needs to know about that one though, because if Himako or she finds out, they will just bitch about it for him to, well, get it off. As she trailed her fingers over the seals. You know, Monotabe think that you're a weird kid, but he respect you for some reason. Monotabe? Who's that, Naruto asked. The Nibi. That's her name, said Yujito. But Nibi is just easier to say though. As Naruto wondered, the Shikaku, it had a name too. Wait, they both had names, said Naruto. Yeah, said Yujito. I can only imagine what the Kyuubi name would be if you call it its name rather than Kyuubi. Wait, the Kyuubi has a name, said Naruto, as he looked at her. The Kyuubi doesn't have a name. Hey, you don't have another name, do you? Naruto asked, as Yujito wasn't aware of the thoughts going on in Naruto's head though. Of course the Kyuubi has a name, you dummy. Do you really think the Sage of Six Paths was so lazy that he wouldn't name them after he created them? Calling all of them by the number of their kills is a terrible way to address them. I thought he was dying when he broke up the Jubi and made them, said Naruto, as Yujito snuggled up more against him. Hey, you had a name? Why didn't you tell me you had a name, said Naruto. I thought we were at least partners. You never asked. In 11 years of you knowing me, you never asked. And I assumed that you didn't care. When you were stupid, I gave you a break, but when you had sense, you never asked. Just like every other human that he had come in contact with, after the Sage of Six Paths died, they never asked, as they just labeled them by tails, not their name. But not that you would tell any other human, just like that. Because I thought I know your name already, you big orange jackass. How the hell didn't I know? All that time when you refer to yourself as a title, than its name. So what's your name? Screw off, kid. I'm going back to sleep. Hey, don't ignore me. We aren't done with this yet. What are you gonna do? Sharingan it out at me? You know I don't know how, said Naruto. And besides, I told you I would never do that, even if I found out how I did it. As Naruto heard snoring, bitch, he said. Naruto then felt something poking him right in the face. Yuji-chan, he said. You were spaced out and ignored me. I was asking you, how do you think Battlefront is going on out there? I've heard some things about it, nothing nice either. I don't understand how this could happen. Pain did it, said Naruto. Everyone is scared of those eyes of his, and the power they hear can use. For the minor village, they can either fight him alone, or fight us together. So they chose his side after hearing what he did to Hinasan and Erosanin, and me at the same time. Yujito frowned. You're not afraid to fight this guy again, are you? We've been through this already, you know that? I'm not afraid to fight anyone anymore, said Naruto. One or another, I want to fight him again. That guy really pissed me off. I'll show him God if that is what he really wants. Cult, peace off, but Naruto was cut off. As she covered his mouth. Shh, already she said. Pain's not here, I'm here. Focus on me. I'm your mission, right? You're supposed to be keeping me safe until you get me back to my village. Naruto pulled away her hand. Of course I'm focused on you. As she maneuvered herself to sit down right in his lap. You are, huh? She said. Well, you don't look that focused. So I will ask you again, big bad Jonin man. Focus on me completely, she said. Don't get me killed tomorrow either. Right back at you, said Naruto. As she kissed him, making him start to kiss her back. As it went into a full makeout session before he leaned her on her back. As she held on to his hair, holding him close. As he started to go around her before, his eyes snapped open as he jumped to his feet. As she was confused, very confused and very flustered. What's the matter, she said. As she wondered, was it her? They've done something like that before, but they were interrupted the last time before anything could happen. Maybe he was having second thoughts this time. But it wasn't her. It was something his clone saw. Naruto then jumped on top of her, covering her with his body as many spikes burst through the tent. Toby said not to kill them, said a voice. Outside of the tents was a group of white Zetsus. As the tent was destroyed, if you kill a Jinchuriki's bitch will die with it. It takes time for it to resurface, so take them alive, okay? As they rushed the tent, only to find 2 pairs of wooden dummy from Naruto and Yujito use of replacement. The clones burst out of hiding as they dropped down, as they slaughtered the white Zetsu clones, who were pretty weak. As Naruto and Yujito came out of the darkness, as they leaned over to one of the Zetsus, this one was not black and white, but white completely. Well, more like light green, very light. What the hell are these things? Plants or humans? They bleed like humans, said Naruto as he noticed their light fluid stains the ground. I had a clone around when he saw them drop some transformation jutsu. These are the Konoha ninja that were with us today. They were going to slip into Konoha camp behind the line and terrorize us once they got there. Then they saw us and went to capture us, said Naruto. So that's why they weren't around. But no one's transformation is that good. Even if they got that far, any sensory ninja in your ranks could find out. Unless there was something different about it. Something that not even a sensor could figure out. There wasn't any time to deal with that though, because the entire squad was comprised of these plant mans. Remember, we would need one of them alive to interrogate Naruto as he pulled his blade from his back. They could hear more of them coming their way as they speak. Fingernail grew as they turned large, used for combat. You capture one, she said. I'm not really the capturing type. She was a pissed off type. They couldn't have waited a few minutes to try and kill them, to make sure Naruto have some good time first. As Naruto stepped away from her, she was angry and he could imagine why. It was kind of ironic that the only mercy one of these plant men was going to receive is from someone that was trained in root. Yes, really ironic. But guys, to be in subscribe right here for the next part of this, or know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the new series, What If Naruto had the Red Rinnegan and was neglected, and enjoyed that, guys. And also remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah guys, without further ado, I'm over now. See you guys soon. Peace. Well, tomorrow. Bye guys.